Now we're going to create a book for our books project. In order to create something, we use HTTP post request. HTTP post request usually sends a request body to the server for the server to do some kind of data manipulation and then send a response body back. There is a method of creating post using request bodies, which we're going to look into much more detail in the future section. But for now, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to use app.post, but I'll be using query parameters instead of request bodies. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create a function here. It's going to be asynchronous function as always. Async def create new book, and the parameter is going to be book title because we need title of the book and book author, right? Since we're creating new book, we need these two things, title and author, based on this dictionary here, title and author. Now, by the way, this is app.post. So let's create a decorator here first, app.post, and it's going to be an empty URL string. So just going to be a /, and inside this function body here, let's do our magic. So what I'm going to do here is, as you can see, we have these IDs here, right? Book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5. So let's say a new ID is going to be book 6, right? Book 6, and I'm going to create this new dictionary, right? So how is that going to look? So books, this is how you add something to a dictionary, right? You add that as a key, and then you add the value. So the value is going to be, let's copy one of these guys here, one of these rows, okay? And title, book title is going to be coming from this function parameter, which is going to be book title, and book author is going to be this guy here, right? Awesome. So the issue with this is, the thing is, you won't know, right? If you're creating multiple books, how are you going to keep track? Are you going to come back and change the ID in your function? No, you won't do that, right? This is a very static thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some sort of a logic here so we can count where we last left off. Okay, we left off here at book number 5, right? So let's figure out some way that we can actually analyze our last book ID. So what I'm going to do here is, let's say current ID, just going to create this variable, let's call it 0, and some sort of a logic here, length of books. So only do this if the length of books is greater than 0, meaning there is something in the books. And now I'm going to parse over our existing books dictionary for book in books. Now book ID, we can extract what we're trying to do here essentially is trying to extract these book IDs, right? And what I'm going to do is I want to get the maximum ID or the last book ID. So I want, essentially in this example, book number 5, right? How do you do that? You can actually, if you know a little bit about Python, how you can split this book using .split method and extract the last piece. That's what I'm essentially doing here. Book ID equals int book dot split, and I'm splitting it over the underscore, and I'm kind of extracting the last value here. So this, and why do I need int here? Because usually it returns a string, but for my purposes I need an integer, right? Otherwise the logic won't work. So now if book ID greater than current ID, then current ID equals book ID. So what's going to happen here is the current ID is going to take on the last ID, right? And then, but we don't need the last ID. We need to add one to it, right? We don't need to overwrite that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say new book ID equals, let's use the string formatting, book and current ID plus 1. Why 1? Because current ID in this example is going to be 5, right? But I need 1 next to it. So it's going to be 5 plus 1 or current ID plus 1. That will give me book_6, right? And now let's enhance this guy here, right? Let's enhance this. So we don't need this static typed text. You can have new book ID, and there you have it. Now you have this new entry in the books dictionary, and what we can do is we can return it. Whatever we just added, we can return it. New book ID. That's all. And now let's just save it. Everything looks good. It's a app.post method. Let's bring back our browser. Let's refresh this. And as you can see, we have this new post method here, create new book, right? And this is coming from the name of the function. Let's see, everything is required. Book title is required. Book author is required. Try it out. Let's say this is book title is, I don't know, let's say ABC. Author is Sam. Let's execute that. Awesome. As you can see, it's returning us this title ABC and author Sam. Why is it returning us? Because we have this thing here. So that's the response we wanted. Let's go back here and let's hide this, and let's now read all the books. And let's try it out. And that new entry of that book should be there. Execute 1, 2, 3. Yep, there you have it, that weird looking book, book_6. This 6 is actually coming from our logic here, which is the current ID. So that's pretty much it as far as creating a new book using post, using query parameters is concerned. We're going to be looking into request body in the future sections and adding a database and things like that. But that's it for now.